right. Welcome back, everyone, to Popcorn, the pop culture show. I'm Matt Keeney with JCTV.
I'm Tim Bain, professor of English and film.
And we are coming to you from the JCTV studios here at Jefferson College, Hillsborough.
That's right.
So today we're going to talk about...
Oh, and it's a storm shelter, too.
It is a storm shelter as well, so if there's severe weather in the area, come on down here. We'll take care of you.
There couldn't possibly be any severe weather in this area. I cannot fathom that at all.
Never happens.
It just never happens.
We just saw one a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that was pretty rough.
And we have our nice new chairs, too.
Yeah, that's cool.
These are very comfortable. We love them.
We'll just probably fall asleep.
New set if you've watched the other two shows before this in the reboot.
Not as comfortable as the movie theater seats, though, because you can recline all the way back at Marcus Chesterfield, where we went to see a certain movie.
Yeah, we saw Mickey 17, and we'll also talk about The Electric State on Netflix. And we have a couple music recommendations for you, and I think you have a film recommendation.
Yep.
The Black Bag.
Black Bag.
Okay.
Great movie.
Mickey 17. I'll let you take it away here.
Well, the deal is that it's one of those things where they have developed technology where they can clone people, or but there's some kind of rule like you can't have two of the same. They had some kind of problems with having clones, so they're like, okay, we can clone people, but the original person has to be dead. So Robert Pattinson takes on a job for this like crazy corporation, and they have him do all kinds of dangerous stuff. They sometimes just put him in a situation where they know for sure he's going to die, and they test all his vitals and that kind of stuff. They're trying to find out cures for things, and so that's what the title refers to, that they've gotten to the point where he's the 17th version of him, because 16 others have died, and they always like print him out. They print him out like he's like in a 3D printer or whatever. The new body comes out and it kind of goes. So there's a lot of satire of technology. There's a kind of comedy with the fact that he's just dying, and at one point they find out he's still alive before they're getting ready to throw him in the incinerator, and he's like, nah, that's okay, just go ahead. So they toss him on down, and amidst all this you have some political commentary, because these people have all fled Earth to some other planet to make their way, and they're run by this politician who's like crazy over the top. Mark Ruffalo performance. I thought it was entertaining, but and then so eventually they find out there's some aliens on this planet, and then it becomes are we going to get into a war here? What's going on? And there's some romance along the way. If you like the romance, Mickey falls in love, and then there's another girl who likes him. It's like, who's he going to be with? So the usual kind of stuff.
Yeah, I guess kind of a spoiler, but if we want to talk about that. Then there is a situation where they thought he had died, but he didn't. So now there are two Mickeys, Mickey 17 and 18. And in that regard, I think Robert Pattinson did a nice job in playing both roles, because 17, I guess the personality changes a little bit every time they get cloned. So the Mickey 18 was not really the meek, shy person Mickey 17 was. Mickey 18 was a little more in your face.
He changed,
kind of a jerk. Yeah.
He changed significantly.
He did,
and that was the weird thing. We didn't really get to see if they had changed previously from person to copy to copy. But yeah, he's like totally Mr. Assertive, and like he's not taking any crap anymore. And Mickey 17's they sort of go along to get along kind of guy. Yeah.
And Mark Ruffalo, I'm not so sure about him being a comedic actor. I think he did a nice job in the film, but there was a scene later where they're going out to the cold tundra to essentially confront the main alien, and he completely changes his mannerisms in that one scene to clearly like kind of be Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Didn't really fit with the rest of the character to me, so I wasn't a fan of that. It just was out of place.
I didn't notice that, and I would say I thought it was interesting that he was playing this like crazy like whatever kind of politician, but I didn't really get the Trump vibe, so I didn't catch it in that scene. But I've heard other people sort of either complain about this or say it was genius because he was. But a friend of mine who worships Mark Ruffalo, like if there's a church of Ruffalo, it's my friend Becky. And she said, "No, come on. He was doing Brando. She mentioned somebody else. He was channeling other influences, and I just think that, I mean, this movie is worth the price of admission just for the scene where they have this crazy, crazy dinner scene where somehow they're going to pray or whatever, and Mark Ruffalo starts to pray." And then he starts singing, and his wife starts singing some kind of gospel song or something, and it's just like, so it's that kind of weird, like satirical kind of stuff. You wouldn't want to take this too seriously. I think it goes on a little bit too long, so that's the only thing I thought. Like, they could have tightened it up a little bit, but overall, I would recommend this. Maybe it can wait for streaming. Don't need to see it in the theaters, but yeah. Would you recommend it?
I would. I liked it.
Cool. Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
We got enough chuckles out of it, that's for sure.
Yeah, and that would be the one scene I would also highlight was the dinner scene. So probably the best scene of the
That was
film.
friggin' amazing. And you have Pattinson too. Like, everybody in that scene was just firing on all cylinders. And what did they shoot him up with something, or the meat he ate, it was freaking him out, and he's like getting sick. I mean,
She was obsessed with sauces,
Oh, yeah.
making sauces.
The wife was obsessed with sauce. So yeah, the wife of the politician, Toni Collette, she had a role too. But for every good movie you see, you're probably gonna have to see a bad one. And then, at least this one we got to see in our pajamas. The Electric State on Netflix. They just raised their prices, Matt.
Is this the reason? Because
I
they
think
spent
so.
so much money on this.
I
and it was
think
a
so.
flop?
They blew 320 or something million on this. They did have a lot of CGI of it. So, do you want to do the premise for this one, or do you want me to do it?
Well, I didn't even really. I wasn't aware of this movie until you texted me. I said, watch the pitch meeting on this.
Yeah.
And so I did, and then I said, well, I'll go watch the film. So essentially, there was like a robot war in the 90s.
Alternate timeline.
Alternate timeline. Robots are a thing in the 90s.
Right.
And they get into a war with the human race. And then basically from there, they get defeated and put into some kind of camp, so to speak, out in the middle of the desert. And then now a robot comes back that has this consciousness of a kid that was in earlier in the movie. And honestly, from there, I kind of forget. Because this is one of those, just to be honest, I was kind of messing around on the computer during the film.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't paying a lot of attention, but I will say I did like the CGI. The design of the robots was cool. Kind of reminds me of the video game like Fallout. If any of you have played that,
Right.
so...
I've seen the show.
Yeah,
so,
right. And so I liked that part of it, but the acting was not great.
Well,
Chris Pratt played
Chris
Pratt
just
or
playing
Star
Chris
Lord
Pratt.
again. I don't know.
Chris Pratt with the weird hairdo, which I wish they would have just stuck with that hairdo because
Right.
it was at least. So yeah, we were talking about how Mickey 17 got enough chuckles out of that. This one, if they had just amped up the comedy or something a little more, just make us laugh or do something. The action scene. This is not a movie really to see for the action scenes. I don't know why, but it just didn't look that compelling. Oh, and the one thing on the plot. So the whole way they beat the robots finally is that they come up with this way that basically people can put their own consciousness inside of a robot, so they can have like robot bodies, but the person is whatever doing it virtually.
Yeah, that was another big plot point.
Yeah.
Right.
And the reason that's important is because once they win the war, then the technology is so pervasive that people are like all the time just sitting in chairs like this with a thing on there, and they're like off in Paris or whatever. And gosh, that's going to happen, folks. If we ever come up with a real metaverse, we are just going to be sitting in our chairs and we're going to be like, hey, I'm in Paris. But that's the best part of the Ryan George's pitch meeting on this. He goes, he's like, okay, back to the dystopia where people can't stop staring at their screens. And the producer's like, right, the one you're writing. So yeah, we might have a problem already, folks. I'm just going to point that out.
I did like to see George Costanza in the movie, though. He makes an appearance.
Brief appearance from Costanza being what, bad foster dad?
Pretty much.
Yeah, just and I have nothing really overly critical to say about Millie Bobby Brown. Is that yeah? Great on the first season of Stranger Things, and maybe good throughout. I don't know if her acting is an issue or anything like that, but she has to try to carry this movie. She's the main character. And somehow I didn't think they created enough of a compelling character, or somehow she didn't embody the character enough to really care that much. I mean, yeah, so her brother, that's the other weird plot point. Her brother is somehow tied into the neural network of of all these robots and whatnot. And she was told he's dead, but then she finds out, no, like you said, that he shows up somehow in a robot. His consciousness is inside a robot, and he's trying to somehow communicate that he needs to be freed or whatever. And it's just like, it's crazy. It's crazy. And they got Mr. Peanut. Mr. Peanut's a robot in the movie. Giant Mr. Peanut robot.
That was out there.
That's
sure.
out there. I'm like, what the hell? So is that like a collaboration with the peanut company or what? I don't know.
That's how they funded the movie.
I think
Planters had to have a big stake in it.
Planters tie-in. That'd be funny
Yeah.
if somebody was just eating peanuts. He's like, hey, what are you doing? No, but and then they just throw in some needle drops here and there. They did have Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, if that's your Good Vibrations. That was my favorite line where they're getting into a big fight, and for some reason that song starts playing like in the actual movie, and he goes, "I am not dying to Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch." So, couple of Chris Pratt witticisms, but really just amazing that they spend this much money and they can't come up with a more compelling movie. I don't know what the problem is, but. 2 thumbs down for we are not liking this one. But before we get into our music discussion, well, yeah, it's Rex time. We're doing Rex now, right?
Let's wreck it up.
Yeah, let's wreck it. Wreck it, Ralph. So, I just, funny thing is, Matt and I, we saw this movie, Mickey 17, and then after that, I was like, I'm just going to hang out. And then I saw 3 more movies, 2 of which are not worth mentioning, especially the one where I fell asleep for a half hour. I don't really feel like I can judge a movie if I fell asleep for a half hour. But I did stay fully conscious for the second movie I saw, which was Black Bag. And that is a spy thriller. It's directed by Steven Soderbergh. It stars Michael Fassbender and Cate Blanchett. And really, there's like 3 or 4 other kind of main characters that they're also focusing on. And this is like an overdone thing. Spy stuff, first of all, overdone. So many spy stuff things. You got your James Bond, but then you got all these other like James Bond wannabes. They're bringing back Jason Bourne. I don't know if you heard about that. So that's overdone. Also way overdone is spy couples. Like you got this couple and they're both in the spy game and they're
Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
So yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Smith was the original on that, and then there's been a million there's even been a TV show, and they're going to do a new season with 2 other Mr. and Mrs. So it's overdone. So I just did not think this was going to work because it's been done, but you bring a tight script, you got good actors, and you got a good mystery. We're told at the beginning. He's got a list, Michael Fassbender. One of these 5 people is a traitor. So much of the movie is him simply investigating. His own wife is on the list, so he's got to investigate her. He's got to investigate these other people. He invites them over for a dinner party, and he shoots them all up. He puts truth serum in the friggin' chicken Marcella. so people start popping off during this meeting. So yeah, it's just a fun little spy movie. You got twists and turns. No way you'll be able to predict ultimately who the baddie is.
Yeah, I haven't seen this one.
Yeah,
so.
I'm not going to give any spoilers.
Thank you.
No spoilers on that. Don't put up the graphic of the woman drinking the spoiled milk. We're not doing that. But I just really, that's like my favorite movie of the year so far. It's just if you like spy movies, and if you kind of like the Ocean's movies, the music has kind of had that Ocean's 11 kind of vibe to it, and just it's really sleek. It's 90 minutes long. Get in, get out, and so yeah.
Cool.
Let's get into your music rec.
Okay.
Let's
Well,
hear it.
the recommendation I have, and I've been listening, it's maybe more of a general recommendation for the band, but they do have a new single out and a new album coming out in May. So the band is called Sleep Token.
All right.
And I think it's one of those things, either you love them or hate them. I don't know if people are in the middle, but I guess you could call them hard rock or metal in that category or genre, but also you like poetry, right?
I've been known to teach a few poems.
Yeah, right.
They make me teach it.
To me, the lyrics are somewhat poetic.
Oh.
It's kind of a dark, emotional band, though. So if you're looking to like have an upbeat mood, they might not be for you at that moment in time. They're from England. You don't know who anyone in the band is, so there are a lot of bands out there to a degree like that. But like when they perform, I've seen them twice. They have masks on, body paint, kind of this whole spiritual, I don't know, even demonic maybe, kind of flair to them. That's my opinion.
Oh my.
But I don't know, I really like them. Their new album, like I said, coming out in May. If you like hard rock metal, but also some emotional lyrics and some good vocals, then you might want to check them out. Now, not everyone likes them. I know one of my friends said that he thinks it's overproduced in the studio. It probably is. And then I saw some other reviews recently where they thought the songs dragged on too long and were a little self-serving.
Huh.
But I'm a fan, so that's my recommendation. Sleep Token.
Sleep Token. Well, you had me at possibly satanic.
I'm not saying that's the case, but If some people look at kind of their costumes and things, I mean, none of the music seems to have any kind of themes like
Okay.
that. But just the way they dress,
Well,
some
this-
people might be freaked out by it. I don't know.
The spiritual thing sounds interesting. I'm going to check them out. It's funny because, and you know about sleigh bells, right? You've heard of them?
I've not
okay.
really listened to much of them,
Yeah.
however.
I'm wondering if they're one. I don't really know like what the general populace thinks about these things. I don't know. Maybe they were a love them or hate them kind of band too. They're, I'd say the thing that distinguishes the lead singer, the creator of the band. Can I remember this guy's name? See, this is Alexis Krauss and Derek Miller. So yeah, he said when he liked metal and hard kind of stuff, but he was like, why can't we merge that with like Cyndi Lauper somehow, some kind of thing? So yeah, there's a female vocalist she does all the vocalists, Alexis Krauss, and they are part of what, at least they've been associated with something called noise pop. Which do you know what noise pop is? Okay,
Not familiar.
I think the idea is like it is metal influence, but then also they just kind of insert weird sounds now and then. Dogs barking are popular, I think. So, other weird just sounds thrown in, I guess that's what it is. And it just sounds noisy or whatever, or something like that. So I was first introduced to them years ago. Brian Peters, who co-hosted this show a few times. One day we're at the Fine Arts lot, and he were just walking whatever to it. He hands me a CD. It's like, here, check this out. And it's the Sleigh Bells' first album, Treats. That one really kind of put them on the map, and it's crazy. Somehow I just got into it. That's really noisy. Over the years, they've done songs that have much more. They lean towards the pop side, and then they swing towards songs that are heavier and, like you said, your metal influence. They too, like, they don't do all the quite the costuming you mentioned, but they like to have certainly a lot of different colors or whatever they use in their videos. And anyway, just like you were saying, they've had 2 singles. Actually, they just released the 3rd single off their new album, but the first 2 really hit with me. One's called "Wanna Start a Band," and the other one's called "Bunky Pop." And that's the one that just bored into my brain because they also had a really cool video that goes with it. You should check that out, Bunky Pop, the video. And then their album is called "Bunky Becky Birthday Boy." So totally goofy. They just sometimes put nonsense lyrics, I'm convinced, in their stuff. But they also have stuff, like you said, if you think about it, there's some meaning going on here. So that album, yeah, supposedly coming out on April 4th. I don't get it. Like, apparently you can't get a CD till sometime in May. Did they ever do that? Where, like, they released a digital thing for people to download, and then they do CD or vinyl rollout later?
Probably.
I guess.
I mean, maybe
guess
it takes them longer to actually produce the physical media than uploading it to a streaming platform.
Could be. Yeah, who knows? So I'm kind of like,
So speaking of videos, too,
Okay.
we had a video that we played from Sleigh Bells and one of the new Sleep Token song, Emergence. And with Sleep Token's videos, those are pretty unique in that it's essentially like, there are a couple that are different earlier on, but for the album Take Me Back to Eden, which is my favorite album, that's not the new one.
Uh-huh.
Essentially, think about it like like a role-playing game or like Dungeons and Dragons. You might have little like pewter characters that people have.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a large version of these weird characters, and the whole video essentially is just that character like standing there. It's not even moving. And there might be a few edits here and there, and the camera's moving around. I mean, to me, it looks like they're all digitally created in a software like Blender or something. I don't even think it's a real model that's physically anywhere. So.
Wow.
Like in one of them, a bunch of blood just starts shooting out of the character at one point in the video. I forget what song that was for, but pretty much like throughout the Take Me Back to Eden album, like all of their videos were that way. And the Emergence video, which we popped up on screen, is different than that, but it's the same kind of thing where it's just like this moving image that it moves a little bit, but there aren't any people in the video. There aren't a lot of editing or anything. So those are really unique. I mean, you listen to the song and just kind of watch this strange video that,
Yeah.
like Tool, they had some of the coolest music videos ever back in the 90s. I mean, all of them are great, but I feel like it's kind of related to that, but also a lot different in that you have these characters, but they're not really moving around or doing anything. They're just kind of standing there.
Interesting.
It's like you're in an alternate dimension. So
Things that make you go,
yeah.
Well, final thought then that ties into what you're saying. Music videos are art, and we need some kind of shows like the Grammys or the Academy Awards where we really treat them as art. And I have thing in my class, on my Monday, Wednesday, Friday class, we have Music Video Friday. And
Nice.
then on my Tuesday, Thursday, it's music video.
Well, wasn't there the MTV Video Music Awards for all those years?
Well, it's
I don't know if they
people
even do it anymore,
yeah.
but they used to have that.
But you know how that it's MTV too. Like, we need. I mean, they're becoming a channel of whatever the hell. But we need some serious thing, and just because there's art, there's like little movies. Like forget about the short films that are nominated. You've seen some of those? They're torture to watch. Some of the nominated, Oscar nominated. They're always super depressing too. But music videos, you like musicals? You got song, you got dance, you got a little story, and you got maybe a story that connects over different videos. So,
well, Chemical Brothers, if you like electronic.
Chemical Brothers.
Yeah, they have some of the best music videos.
There you go. So props to anybody still making cool music videos.
I miss MTV. You know,
yeah,
that's what 16 and Pregnant and Ridiculousness all day long.
So I think Jersey Shore got revived.
Yeah. So it wasn't. There was an MTV Classic for a while. There was some other channel that had the MTV brand on it where they still would show videos. Obviously now you can find them all on YouTube though. But it was cool just to sit there and play the channel, and you never knew what what was coming up next. Or they'd have special hours for like 120 minutes on Sunday nights, like that. The alternative show kind of was awesome. Matt Pinfield. You know him?
Don't know Matt Pinfield.
He's a good guy.
Okay.
I think he's had some health problems, but he's recovered from those. And he's also a DJ out in L.A. on one of the big stations, K-Rock maybe.
Okay.
Might be wrong on that, but.
Well, music videos, folks. Get into them.
Yeah, and keep producing them, bands.
Making them part of your life, and spread the word. We always talk about going to theaters. Now I want you to watch music videos.
Absolutely.
All right, folks. Well, we are going to move along to a different segment here. I'm going to interview the president of the Writing Club.
I'll be out of here, and then you
Yeah.
guys can wrap the show up.
I guess we'll do that. I'll tell her to do that.
Yeah, we need other people in on that. It can't just be me.
All right, folks. We'll be right back.
See ya.
Hey, folks, we're back. It's me, Tim Bain, that same professor who was in the earlier segment. And now we're going to talk to the president of JC Writing Club. This is Beth Lunn. And tell us, Beth, what is JC Writing Club?
JC Writers Club is just what it is. It is the writing club of Jefferson College. We meet once a month, the first Tuesday of every month, and we write and discuss, and sometimes we have people come in to speak and teach us about writing and how to better ourselves as writers.
Cool. We do the trunk or treat. That's fun.
Yes, that is really fun. It's my favorite activity that we do.
We do the National Novel Writing List.
That month's difficult, but it's really fun.
And nobody actually writes a novel.
No, but I've
Just
come
never
close.
happens. She's tried at least. I don't even try.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm convinced. Like, does anybody in the entire world write a novel in 1 month? I'm not thinking. They say you can
Probably
use
not a
AI
good
now, so I
one.
can do it in 5 minutes if I can use AI. So we talked a little bit some of the activities we engage in. What else did we do? We did that Christmas shopping thing. Yeah.
Yep, we donated presents
a needy
for
family.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Yep, we went shopping, and that was fun.
That was pretty cool.
And we wrapped all the gifts and wrote a really nice card and sent it in to their family for Christmas so they could celebrate, and that was awesome.
And I got to see that there's like 8 aisles devoted to toys now in Walmart.
Just children.
So I've heard about this thing. I've read about it, heard about it. Control Chaos. What is it?
It is our journal that we have people submit to every year. And you can either work here or be a student here or just faculty here. Anybody can submit as long as they're part of the Jefferson College family. And basically everybody submits their work, some gets chosen, and it is published, and then which leads us to our creative works.
Yeah. So just for folks, I mean, by the time you see this, it's probably the deadline's probably going to be passed. But up until March 31st, we are still accepting submissions, and that's short stories, poems, could be photographs, could be visual art that you took you painted something, you took a picture of it, and you sent it to us. So just anything that can be reproduced in a cool little. I should have brought a copy of it. Damn it, that's like, but whatever. We create this cool little journal at the end of the year. I'm sure we probably got a picture of that. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. And then it leads to something called the Celebration of Creative Works. Could you tell us a little about that?
The Celebration of Creative Works is where we all come together. We invite anyone who would like to come, and they get to watch us perform our work. So we introduce everybody, and everybody takes turn reading their own work from the book. It's a lot of fun. There's copies of the book sold there.
Usually
and-
$10. I assume it'll be $10
yeah,
again.
$10. So, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. There's snacks, and you get to meet the authors of everyone that has contributed, or the photographers, or whatever art you have submitted to the book.
Right. One year we have to figure out like how to, and maybe I'll try to work on it this year, like because we always have people reading stories that are published in the book or poems that are published in the book, but we've never had anybody get up there and say, okay, yeah, I got this, I did this art, and here's what it means, and I think that would be cool if we could.
Oh, I
somehow figure
agree.
that. Yeah, we could
Everybody
do that.
should perform their
Yeah.
art, or at least talk about their art.
Right, it would be. So we'll see if we can work on that for this year. And just to give folks the details on this, so we have the celebration of creative works that's coming up on May 6th. It's in the Student Center, like the main cafeteria area, and it's scheduled to go from 2 to 5. I think what that means is like the first hour is sort of like people, socializing and buying copies of the book or signing copies.
Kind of
or,
like a meet and greet. in the
yeah,
lobby,
and and then also that we have Joel, usually some sax music or something going on. So I think that's what we do for the first hour. Then I think at 3 is where we really start the performances. And you and I do this kind of co-MC sort of
we do.
thing. So that'll be fun. So that's coming up. And I guess the only question I have left for you is, what's the best thing about being president of JC Writing Club? And how long have you been doing this?
So this is my 3rd year in the club, my 2nd year being president. And I think my favorite thing about being president is getting to interact with everybody. It feels a lot more personal than just sitting in the classroom. And I get to talk to everybody, and I get to stand up and present everything that we're doing for the month. And I just really like being so engaged and actually a part of the creative process.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. As we're filming this later tonight, are you going to the trivia thing?
I can't.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. But yeah, I mean, we can't make everything, folks. I mean, she's got a life. And then this is hilarious because it's scheduled for tonight. It goes, and they put it on the schedule 5:30 to 9:30. I've never heard of a trivia thing. I went to one that probably did go on for 4 hours, but I left at like the 3-hour mark. But I'm like, what in the world are we going to be doing? Like, this isn't even really a fundraiser, I don't think. Like, I got to go get some canned goods or something, because for each canned good you donate, they give you like a mulligan, which means if you don't know the answer, you just go, So I'm
free
going
pass.
to do some grocery shopping there. But I don't know what we're going to do for 4 hours. But yeah, it's fun stuff like that. And I guess I would just say, if you're somebody who's thinking of coming to Jefferson College, or if you're seeing this, you're in Jefferson College, you're here with us. If you have any interest of writing, any interest in the other kind of art forms we talked about, again, we concentrate on writing, of course, in all these meetings. But Kate, we've had people that talk about, we had Jody, can't remember how to pronounce her last name, but she talked about graphic novels, so she did get into art and whatnot. So fun club, good bunch, no real egos or anything. Just a good
Everybody
time.
gets along really great.
Yeah,
I love the
yeah.
club. They have a lot of personalities in there, but we all mesh really well.
We sure do. Well, folks, I think that brings us to the end of another show, at which point I have to remind you that till next time, keep poppin', Colonel.
Colonel.